All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Homebound To Eretz Yisrael. Today, we are here with my good friend, Ephraim HaKohen Hershkowitz. Welcome, Ephraim.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope Ezrat Hashem, after this whatever amount of time you will allot me, Am Yisrael, the people, the viewers, the listeners will understand and will know a lot more about what Hitishvut is, what building up Eretz Yisrael is, and especially from the pan of what I would say is Charedim, which is something even more Charedim, Hitishvut, what does one have to do with the other, and especially because we have here a lot of English speakers. You know, there are some Israelis that try to break their understanding and listen in and watch, but because we have mostly viewers that are English speaking, what this has to do with them and how they can become part of it, help it grow, and make Eretz Yisrael, Am Yisrael, so much better and so much stronger.
Amazing. So to catch everybody up, basically, Rav Ephraim is here today. We became friends because, as many of the viewers might know, people who keep up with the channel, that I live on the hill we're on right now, in the Gula Center, on the hill of that's currently called Derech Hashem. Only God knows if that'll change soon, because some people on the hill are not happy with the name, but that's beyond me. Anyway, so the reason that Ephraim, you're here is because, first of all, when I started building on this hill, it was all very new to me. I started getting involved on this hill, and you are also somebody who is a settler, a pioneer, and I just want to give a little bit of intro to this whole thing. Up until recently, there were really only two types of settlers / pioneers. There were those of, like we have here, this book that you brought in. We have, I don't know, assuming this might be able to see us, or we could do this one over here, who knows, whatever. In this picture, actually, so we have here in this picture, we have some old school yishuv pioneer-looking Jews. Right. You know, everyone's seen the picture. We can put up on the screen. You know, the Jews with the pitchforks and the hose and all those little tools and the gardening tools, and that's how people. You know, those are the pioneers of Eretz Yisrael. Many people think the job was done. We conquered the little sliver that we call Eretz Yisrael today, and we think the job is done. Then we have, fast forward to nowadays, everyone knows the youth, the hilltop youth settlers, right? The guys with the fluffy payas, and they speak Hebrew, and they herd the donkeys and the sheep. And that's as far as everyone knows when it comes to settling Eretz Yisrael, pioneering, conquering land, yada yada. But I think through some of the videos I make and some more things that have been coming out now, and probably your circle also of people, more Jews, especially American Jews, and even many Israeli Jews, are now getting more and more educated that there is still a lot of work to do in the conquering of Eretz Yisrael, because in this land, like everything in Judaism, you're either going up or you're going down. There's no such thing as staying in the middle. There's no such thing as we stay in Yerushalayim, Beit Shemesh, Tel Aviv, and then the rest of Eretz Yisrael is just going to wait for us. No such thing. Over here, it's you're either taking it or the Arabs are taking it. It's one of the two. So people either need to be active, or the more Arabs that take over the land here, the more terrorism we have, and you know the drill. So ever since I came to the hill here on Derech Hashem, I've been making videos about it, and many more. You know, to me the whole thing was new. The idea of being able to come out to Yehuda v'Shomron and start taking land and start building on the land, and there's risks involved, whether it's with the Arabs, whether it's with the government, whether it's with all kinds of stuff. And through my videos, people have been getting educated on this. People have been reaching out to me, asking questions. And it's becoming a thing. It's becoming known to the public that there's still a job to be done. And it's almost on the table as an option. So you, Ephraim, are somebody who is also quite heavily involved in the building up of yishuvim. And specifically, you're an English speaker and you're a Haredi fella, which these are all things that are very new to the world of settling, of
Hitishvut.
I can't ever down these words.
That's fine.
Something wrong. My tongue is tied when it comes to certain Hebrew words. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about today. A lot of people are asking me a lot of questions, and you're the right man for the job to really cover what is going on the ground is this an option for people? Are there people in America or in Beit Shemesh that can come to these hills? Is that an option? What are the risks involved? Do they have to start their own hill? Are there yishuvim that are open? People heard of Efrat and Beitar, but these are already gigantic, overcrowded cities. Baruch Hashem. So, I guess, Ephraim, start with just maybe a little bit of your background. How did you get to this point? How did you become a English-speaking Haredi Jew to building up hilltops in the Shomron?
Okay, so first of all, I was actually, even though my English sounds pretty well, and sometimes the Israelis say your Hebrew is not that great, although my wife, who's Israeli, doesn't seem to mind. So actually, I was born in Eretz Yisrael, but at age 6, we moved back to where my mother came from, which is Montreal. Mm-hmm. I grew up there, but I always had, I guess, that spark in me, the love of Eretz Yisrael. I couldn't understand why, people went to Florida for Pesach and they went to all kinds of places. The only place you go is to Eretz Yisrael. And Baruch Hashem, the first opportunity I had that as a yeshiva bacher, I came back to Eretz Yisrael. And I can say, honestly, since then, I have never left Eretz Yisrael.
Wow. How many years has that been?
We're talking about 23, 24 years.
Oh.
Wow.
So you keep halacha.
I try. We all try. And it's not even about halacha. I can say that to leave Eretz Yisrael is like one of my biggest fears in the world. To even have that thought, sometimes you have these dreams. That's a nightmare for me.
I share that feeling. Yeah.
So all along, I always had Ahavas Eretz Yisrael, and in that search, going in the Haredi world, it's a total separate thing because you come to Eretz Yisrael, and most of the Haredim that live here in Eretz Yisrael. Maybe we live in Eretz Yisrael. Well, okay, we're here, we were born here. So we live here, you were born in Montreal and New York, Lakewood. So live there. They missed out something because they didn't have that challenge that we did by coming to Eretz Yisrael, which built us up. So all along I looked and I was finding out and looking into the truth and finding out a community that would fit. And I found a community which is called the Deres Eliyahu, known as Zilbermans in the Old City. It's, I think, many of your listeners may know people who have connections, even though they don't know they are. And over there, their love of Eretz Yisrael was always, I actually learned an American yeshiva that had Rabbanim from there. And there was no question, love of Eretz Yisrael is this is a Kadosh Baruch Hu's land. We don't just live here because we live here, and we try to do as much as we can. And, I got married, children, lived the regular life in Yerushalayim. But always there was that spark. What can I do? What can I do to do it? 4 years ago when my father passed away, I said this is, it's my challenge. And I started giving a weekly 5-minute Dvar Torah on Avas Eretz Yisrael. And, I would write up some stories, send out to people. It was, limited to friends, family, just to strengthen them. And at that opportunity was something that changed my life and brought me into Hityashvut, into building up Eretz Yisrael. A group of people that I had known, and we had known. And all of a sudden we had the idea, let's go build up more of Eretz Yisrael. And the funny story is that we're sitting right here on the hill. That the story was, I think, on the next hill over. At the time, it was called Derech Emunah. So we wanted to come one summer night, get a bunch of yeshiva bachram, a couple of families, and we're going to go and build up Eretz Yisrael.
We could put a link to the J.P. Katz's video.
J.P. Katz's video.
We'll try to put that in the description if people want to see it, and you'll tell us what happened to that.
So, as opposed to the government that sits today, and we're speaking of pre the war. Things were different. There was a leftist government, Arabs in the government. The place was a major revolution, but it didn't survive more than a few days. It was more like you can say a major PR because it got all over the news. People were telling me, I heard it afterwards. We were speaking about it on the Shabbos table, and we heard about it. The only problem is that 3 days later, the place no longer existed. And people said, okay, Haredim tried, but we don't have the strength, we don't have the courage to continue, the stamina. But they were wrong, because at the same time as this group was formed, the Derech Emunah group, there was another group that said, we're not going to stop, we're going to continue. And we slowly built up, we got families together, we looked, just to understand, to find the place at the time took almost a year. But finally, we had to get agreement from different, apparently every hilltop, considers all of Eretz Yisrael theirs from the from north to the south. Jokingly, but we finally agreed with the group, and we found somebody who said, you can bring in your group. You're going under my rules. You'll come in one family at a time, another family. Slowly, I'm going to disengage, and you will totally engage. And this is exactly what happened in Mitzpeh Leah. Now, what's amazing and very interesting about Mitzpeh Leah, which is located not far from Kochav HaShachar, we're talking about 20 minutes north of Yerushalayim, northeast if you want to be correct, is that we're talking about an area, no Haredi cities nearby. I mean, Yerushalayim is nearby, but we're not talking about Beitar 5 minutes away or Kiryat Sefer 10 minutes away or Tel Zion. We're talking about basically the yishuvim that are surrounding it are the Tilumi yishuvim, and we were what's new to the scene. And as we know, we slowly built up. We learned in the beginning, every inch you're bringing in a Congo to knock down one rock to get the road going. Baruch Hashem, people started believing. I remember the first time we're talking about, there were two houses. It was a couple, Haredi, and the person who found the place that moved on. And I'm sitting there, and I brought a bugger, which is in Israel, it costs around 5,000 to 6,000 shekels for a day's work, Jewish workers, which I actually like to remind that my driver...
You say bugger, you mean a tractor?
What?
A tractor.
Yeah. And the driver, the person that was driving, his name is Ephraim Feldman, Zichrono Livracha, Hashem Yikam Damo. He was killed in Gaza, clearing out the terrorist hives over there. So he came there and he was working for me. And I remember in the whole day they're telling me, if the army comes, they will take this away. So I'm like, okay, what happens? Like, you have to pay for it. What do you mean I have to pay for it? This thing cost a couple of 100,000 shekels, if not more. It's like, yeah. So I asked him, so what do I do? He said, open up with the Hillim and daven. And that's what I did.
We had the same thing. A lot of the stuff we got to our house and a lot of people around here, the drivers, they say, we'll bring it, but if our truck gets taken away, you pay for the truck. They make you sign, and every one of those signatures, your heart drops a little, but you're like, Hashem, I'm doing this for you.
Exactly. And this is the first time we brought this there. And at 4 o'clock, the day his work day was going to end at 5 o'clock, because he came out a little later. At 4 o'clock, who shows up? This Reform rabbi. I don't want to use the word rabbi. I'm not even going to say his name. He came, started taking pictures. He has connections with the wrong people, the right people. And I asked, what am I supposed to do? He said, send him home an hour early. It's fine. You'll pay the whatever losses. And I did. And Baruch Hashem, that was the first time that he came. And many times. And people started losing the fear. And people build up houses and more houses. And even somebody put down a house the other day. We're talking about getting over 500,000 shekels, if not more. And people are thinking already of building second floor houses. People are starting to understand that it's true, it's real, it's happening. And this is why we understand it's not just for us. This past, right after Sukkot, we made a big Achnasa Sefer Torah. And it wasn't about the Sefer Torah, the mitzvah of the Sefer Torah, but we wanted all of the Am Yisrael to know about it. We wanted the Haredi world to know about it. We wanted English speakers to know about it. So we advertised everywhere. People showed up. Even a Knesset member showed up. And he comes over to me, what can I help you with? I don't really know what I can help you with, but if there's anything I can help you, I'll help you. I said, just you being here is fine. People will see this. And the next day, apparently it's not that I called up any media or this and that. It was all over the Haredi press, even some English press, Mishpacha. And that's when the group started coming. I'm talking about Hasidim. Groups of Hasidim came. Not just one Hasid, there's 2, 3, 4 groups of Litayim and this, and they're asking, we want to join, we want to be part. How can we do it ourselves? The Hasidim wanted to do a copy paste for their own kehilas. And like, how do we do this? How did you guys do this? So you weren't afraid. You weren't all the questions that hopefully we will answer. And honestly, yeah, we were crazy. We didn't know what we were doing at the time. Now we know a lot better. Baruch Hashem, that's part of what. But
I don't think you can ever get to a point where you know what you're doing.
You think you know.
You think you know. I mean,
that's even worse.
You'll never. No matter how many hills you built up, you can never be comfortable signing that if the tractor gets taken away, you have to pay for it. You can never. There's no way to ever get comfortable figuring out where to get water from. Like these there's no protocol.
That's true. I'm looking right now, right across of our hill in Mitzpeh Leah. There's actually a lot of kramim, vine. And last summer we didn't have a ti'um, we didn't have a meet up with each other. They turned all the water on a very hot day. All of a sudden we turned our taps and there is no water. Baruch Hashem, it was taken care of. But it's like all kinds of, like all of a sudden, wait, we're here already for a year, no water, what's going on? All these challenges that you don't have in a city, although there are many more challenges in the city. And there are so many advantages of living this place. I'm not even speaking about, I want to speak a few minutes just about the advantages, because they're going to tell me about Eretz Yisrael and saving Am Yisrael and saving the land. Okay, let Michal Achba do it. Why should I do that? I want comfort. So if I'm speaking about comfort, I'm going to tell you a little bit about comfort. And I'm speaking now especially to English speakers. I grew up with a backyard. Front yard, not so much. But, I grew up with friends. We all, we'd go play in the backyard baseball. It was like mini baseball because, you hit the home run and you smash the window of the neighbor. Yeah, I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about. They grew up in places with a lot of greenery, with a lot of open space, with more quiet. And I feel that one of the things that stop, also in Aliyah, a lot of people come to Eretz Yisrael. I actually want to share a story, and then I'll continue. There's a Rav, his name is Rav Shraga Kalos. He's a famous Maggid Shiri. He's on Torah anytime. He's a Rosh HaKollel for English speakers in Eshkol in Mattersdorf. So he said a story I heard, I think, 2 years ago, and it struck me deeply till this day. He says some elementary in America, the Rav started speaking about Moshiach is coming soon. Maybe this happened right after the war started. Moshiach is coming soon, and we're soon going to get on airplanes and move to Eretz Yisrael. And then one of the kids lifts his hands up, and he says, "What do you mean? We're going to all have to move to Eretz Yisrael?" He's like, "Yeah, it's going to be amazing." And another kid, "We're going to have to live in apartment buildings?" A few weeks later, the PTA, one of the fathers went over to the Rabban and he said, "Listen, you can speak about Moshiach, you can speak about Geula, but you have to do it in a way not to, cause them trauma." It's kind of funny, but it's sad. And the sad part is that as people that are used to a situation of having a yard, having land, having quietness, not living in a situation of 5, 6, 7, 14 floor buildings, their options, especially if they're from the Frum community, the Yeshivish community, their options are almost zero. And then they go, and like they say, they have an excuse. I want to take all their excuses away. It's not about the excuse, but I want to give them the option to live the life like they see it. And I also think, if we're speaking about Yehuda and Shomron, about every inch that a Jew is not there, then the enemy will be there. So let's speak realistically about what's going on in the north of Eretz Yisrael and the south of Eretz Yisrael. If you go to the Galil, okay, there is an area of Haifa with a lot of Jews. You have, Carmiel, you have Tzfat. But if you cut out the vast majority of the land...
Where would you say the Galil officially starts? You just said Haifa. I never really considered Haifa.
It's not, but if we're talking about... I actually was at a Knesset member, Avi Maoz, a Knesset member at a meeting, and he used to be the building, the minister of building, housing, whatever it's called, and he drew the line, and he told me, "Do you understand that the entire eastern Galil, I guess the side, or it was eastern, that whole area, he drew a triangle with, he knows the villages and everything. I don't remember them by heart. But he goes, "Do you know what the percentages of Jews are there? We're talking about they're going to be less than double digit. We're talking in the next few years. The Jewish population is disappearing there. The people that are living there are
You're talking about like near Syria?
Actually, the areas when you go up there in the Golan, they're yishuvim. We're talking about closer Haifa eastwards. We're talking about areas that will become with no Jews. If we know, we want to speak about what happened in the war. We always ask the question: why didn't the Yamach Shemam, the terrorists, come to they did come to Sderot, but why didn't they in the Ofakim? But why didn't they get to Netivot and they get to dozens of other cities where Chas v'Shalom what could have happened? Because there were many, many towns on the way. They were what you call barriers, protections. I'm not asking anybody to be a barrier. That's not what I'm saying. But the fact of the matter is, when there is one Jewish town and a few kilometers, another Jewish town and another Jewish town, it causes it causes that land not to be what they say Judenrein. We do not want to get to a place in Eretz Yisrael in the south and the north. They're the only people that live there. And when you see how the Arabs live, we're talking about each one has villas and they have their own buildings. They build it and do whatever they want. And Jews, it's known fact. I even spoke to somebody who works in Remy, the place they sell the land. They charge the Arab 1/10 to 1/20 for the same price what they charge the Jews. And I asked myself the question, what's going on here? And then I realized that in the end of the day, sadly, a lot of the government officials and Knesset members, where are these guys from? This is not like in America where every congressman comes from his area. In Israel, the politicians in general come from the center of the country. Okay, what's important to me is Tel Aviv, Yerushalayim, Netanya. I don't care really what's going on in the north. And in the last government, one of the Knesset members said, what are we wasting money on the north? Let's be honest. We all want to live here in high rises in Tel Aviv. He said it like that openly. Obviously said, no, we actually care. So we know that as much as the government cares...
But as Americans, I think it gives us a big advantage because we come from a country that's tremendous.
Right.
I mean, almost any country in the world is bigger than Israel.
Yeah.
When you're born and raised in Israel, you can literally look at the little tiny country that it is. Besides, like I have the maps of the actual borders of Eretz Yisrael. besides the fact that Eretz Yisrael, the current Eretz Yisrael, is just a tiny fraction of what it's supposed to be. The people who grew up here, to them, it's just like they're used to everything so small apartments, small country. So it's like, okay, so we get rid of a little bit of the top, a little bit of the bottom. Let's just protect to but then when you also have Yehuda v'Shamron, you also have Eretz Yisrael is like 17 feet wide.
Exactly. And even
as an American, you look at this, you're like, what? Are these people crazy? Even if we took Yehuda v'Shamron and Gaza and the whole Galil and everything that at least we're meant to have, according to the state or whatever, to some extent, even if you took all that, it would still be so small. We're still one of the smallest countries. It's crazy. It's crazy how small we are. And it's a very small thinking mentality. And it's a big problem.
It's a small thinking mentality. And what's going on today in Israel is this new thing. It's called Pinui Benui. Every apartment building that's 3, 4, 5 floors is going to be knocked down and replaced by between 15 to 40 floor apartment buildings. So now, where it used to be, we were all, basically squished in. We're going to be now even more, It's going to be every street that's not even made to have so many cars and so many people is going to have, just to get out of your street, you're going to be sitting 30 minutes to get to the next block. So I say, if that's the future, sadly, till they awaken and understand that that's a terrible mistake, so get on the bandwagon, do what you can right now, and, it's maybe sounds a little weird. What am I going to move to a community that today is 10, 15, 20 families? Yeah, but it's going to be 200 families in 5, 10 years. It may be like the Sefer that I showed you, which is the book that I showed you, which is a historical book of Haredim that came 150 years ago to settle a land, to build a farming land. And today is Maskeret Batya, which is
is this the name of it? So
it's called Giborei Koach Nishkachim. This is the true history. I think it's actually in English also.
Oh, really?
It's actually translated in English. I think maybe we can look afterwards for the link.
Look, this is open the page. Like this
yeah, you got to get that. Don't tell me that Haredim were not armed.
Yeah, a different type of Haredim.
Yeah, so...
The type that we need.
The truth of the matter is, in the Haredi world, they took it. It used to be Haredim had yishuvim, komi miyut, and this. And then when the state of Israel came, okay, we were shoved into a few places, and now Haredim have nowhere to go, which is another thing. And people are starting to realize Yehuda Shomron. We're speaking about Yehuda Shomron. Now we're going to go. The Moatzat of Yehuda and Shomron realize, wow, we have a treasure pot. It's called the Haredim that don't have nowhere to go. Let's build them what they're used to. Huge apartment buildings. We'll make it drop shorter, sell them for pretty much ridiculous prices. And we'll do it all over the place. Any place where there's a Haredi yeshuv, whether it's Meitzad, whether it's near Kiryat Sefer, they'll add more and more and more. But I ask the question, where do you live? You all live in your houses or your yards and this. You know what? It's not for every Haredi that he needs this. But there are a lot of families. I'm looking like with kids. My wife works in Chinuch Miyuchad, in the special ed, and you ask yourself the question, so many of these kids, they need that place to run around, they need the air, the freedom. They're not going to get that in the 12th floor in a 70, 80, 100-meter apartment. We need it, even if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. And I can be honest, if I offered right now 100 Haredi couples the option, bring them right now to any, Haredi regular neighborhood where they're building now those huge towers, or bring them to Mitzpeh, bring them to Derech Hashem and show them. They'll say, wait a second, you know what? I didn't even know this existed. I didn't know this was an option. Yeah, you know what? Let me try it out. And I can tell you the people that tried out Mitzpeh, because today, like everywhere, we already, one person comes in, there's 5 that want to take that spot. So we let them try it out. And I don't know anybody that came in. And with the challenges of, okay, I have to go to the Makot with a car, or, it's not right under my, and I don't have a minion 24/7 like you may have in these shtibels, and all the different challenges. They're not challenges, they're differences of life, but in the end of the day, they all appreciate it when you have that serenity. And you also, I'm speaking about now only the physical, the gashmias. I'm not speaking about we're doing for Eretz Yisrael, for Am Yisrael, for the Haredi Tzibur, because somebody right now that goes and does the impossible and goes and helps build another Haredi yishuv when people didn't believe in it. He's doing it in the end of the day is v'ahavta l'recha kamocha, because he's causing other families that want it and need it, but don't have the strength, the emotional strength to do it right now. He is helping them get to that place. So when we're speaking about in the Hitishvuta Haredit, we're speaking about Yehuda and Shomron. Yehuda and Shomron is that's like the start. Mitzpeh was people tell me it's a small place. I said, yeah, it's a small place. We weren't here to show you this is the end of it. This is just the start. This is to show that it's wanted and it's known. And the amount of people that call, the amount of people that send emails, they want to get involved, and they want, where's the next place? What's going on? How can we start copy-paste? With obviously make it even better, because any place you're going to do, copy-paste, you add in, make it better and better, gashmias, ruchnias, everything. So the amount of people that want to get involved will become more and more. So I'm here as part to change that mindset, because people, as a Haredi, especially if you're coming from America and you're making Aliyah, they give you what did they give you? A list? It's called Beit Shemesh, it's called Yerushalayim if you got a little more money. Now there's this new Afula, a few more options, right? I didn't get the list because I came in as a bacher, so I don't know. But I don't know what they give you at Nefesh B'Nefesh. So
I didn't get any list when I made it.
Good.
I moved during COVID. They didn't give me nothing.
They told you
I
to
came
stay
to
in
an
a box.
empty airport with 3 people on my flight that were also making Aliyah. Wow. An old lady with her caretaker, and then some random secular couple. And I kind of when I got off the plane, I kind of felt a little bummed. I always see the pictures of Nefesh B'Nefesh holding the signs, welcome home. We didn't get any of that.
Well, I actually was on the second flight, but I actually envy you. You know why? Because I had a big Russia greeting us at the entrance. He's no longer with us, and because of him, I guess the wars continue on today, if you know what I mean. So, but I think it's starting mentally to change the thing. They always said, no, Haredim, they want their shtibels, this, that, like I said before, and they don't want this. But by the fact that people will vote with their, with their speech as well, show that they want it, willing to invest in it, willing to donate it, willing to do whatever it takes. It could be, somebody asked me, what can I do right now? I want this for my kids. I want this as a dream. One day after my kids move in, I'll sell my apartment in, in Ramat Eshkol, in this, that, and I'll join them. But what can I do? I said, there's so much to do. Listen, our entire organization is basically a few people who see the picture forward, what can be. Just like, the Moshiach, when they built up before, 150 years before the State of Israel existed, that was the groundwork that the whole State of Israel grew up. It wasn't that just one day, 1948, Ben Gurion came and declared a state. No, there was something before it. There were towns, there were villages, there were Jews that knew how to build. One of the early stories I had at Mitzpeh, they told me, listen, there's no houses, there's nothing. We need some fruit trees, Fruit trees is a kiddush. I said, okay, I'll called up a couple of my mother, I called up my sister, my brother. Everybody donated trees. I went to buy nearby from a only Jews, Baruch Hashem, with all the chumras, no questions. But then I came down 2 hours to the sunset, and a guy from Montreal, what do I know about planting trees? My father planted a few. What am I going to do here? And you got to get them into the ground. I can't come here tomorrow again. All of a sudden, a group of Haredim show up. I'm like, how did you hear? We didn't hear you were planting trees. Somebody told us to come visit. They heard about this Haredi place. Everybody got the schus of building putting in the trees. And one of the guys over there tells me, do you know? I'm like, I told him, like, one of the chidushim here, one of the great things here is that Jews are building Eretz Yisrael. By us, it was Haredim building Eretz Yisrael. Guys that didn't know how to lift tools are now doing tiles. They used to say only Arabs know how to build tiles. Lies. Jews knew how to do flooring, and they know how to do everything, Baruch Hashem, and better. So he tells me, my father built Bnei Brak. When we came after the war, there was no Arabs. We built up Eretz Yisrael. This is another, like, you tell this to somebody now, he's like, what do you mean? You have to take away all the lies and bring the history, bring the truth. And once people know that, they understand that this whole thing of Jews building up, Haredim building up towns, is not something far-fetched. It's something that we did before, and we'll continue to do it. And there's only one Sibur in the end of the day. Today, if we separate Israel, we'll take away the enemies of Israel. We're not even going to speak about them, but we have the non-religious, and we have the Dati Leumi, and we have the Haredi sector. The Dati Leumi is already heavily involved in building up yishuvim. So you can't ask them to go and build yishuvim. They are building yishuvim. The Chiloni, you can't ask them in general to go build yishuvim, because if they don't have the Torah and they don't have the kiddush and they don't have this, why would I want to have, I'll live in Tel Aviv, I'll pay whatever it is, I'll live nearby, why would I want to, drop a struggle to it? So there's only one Sibur that is not involved in it today, and it will be the game changer. It will break the tie right now. I actually went last week, as part of my Parnas, I'm a Sefer, right, Sefer Torah. So I went to one of these apartments in Shmuel Hanavi, to a guy who had to fix up something. And there's a long row of apartments. I'm talking about 30, 40 apartments under an apartment building. Each apartment is, 12 to 14 square meters. And this is where young couples live with babies. You hear through the walls, and they have their laundry sitting outside. This is ridiculous. Every frum Jew has to get a piece of land. Don't tell me 5th floor, 7th floor. Every Jew has to get a nachla. They have to, if you want to live in Merkaz Yerushalayim, okay, live wherever is available. But if you are willing to go a little farther, to take that risk, the challenge, to maybe even change
take risks and put in work.
Maybe you'll have to change things in your life.
People are not willing to do.
Right. You'll have to change things in life. It's not the school I wanted exactly. And it's, I was working at this job. Maybe I'll have to take a pay cut, a drop. In the end of the day, by the way, all these things, if you wanted to speak financial, whatever you do, there's people that go to the hills and then they don't work. Why should I work? I don't really have to work anymore. I can sit in the kollel the whole day. And this is another thing that I'll add. Somebody wants to sit and learn, and he's paying, I don't know what he's paying, but I'll tell you one thing so you'll understand. We, Baruch Hashem, a couple of months ago, had a big believer in this whole idea. The Am Yisrael Chai organization, Shmuel Sackett, came over and he said, you guys got to continue. I'm going to try to help you whatever I can. And he gives out a lot of money to yishuvim, he gives out, he doesn't even tell me what he gives out, but I was listening on the news, some not Haredi settler, they took away his Roy Etzon or something. The next day, he donated a whole, amazing, for his love of Eretz Yisrael. So
Shmuel Sackett is a great man, doing great work.
So he told me a story. This is just happened recently. So he has a raffle every year, $1 million apartment that helps out to pay for some of the organization that he helps out in. And one of the winners, I'm not sure exactly when. Usually you always think, who wins? The guys that buy 50 raffle tickets, and they're the winners. They anyways are well off. What do they need the apartment? But I guess this one time, this chassid from Bar Ilan in Yerushalayim Shmuel Hanavi area, he won. Okay, so him and Shmuel Sackett and his wife went to meet the couple. They brought them to the apartment, and the husband and wife are like, they're crying. The wife is crying. They're like, wow, it's like a mansion. Now, it's not a mansion because it's in Yerushalayim. I mean, if you take that amount and move it over here, you can probably have a block. But it's a beautiful apartment. And they're crying and this and that. And then the husband says, listen, do you know where we're living? He's like, no, where are you living? I'm living in the caver. The caver is the, how do you say that in English? Where you bury somebody? Burial.
A grave.
A grave, sorry. Yeah. Being here so many years, I lost my English. So anyways, he said, I'm living in the grave. Now, caver in Hebrew, in that area, he goes, oh, you live near caver Shimon HaTzadik. There's the caver of... He's like, no, I don't live near caver Shimon HaTzadik. I live in the caver. He's like, what do you mean you live in the caver? He goes, yeah, I live -2 floors in a 20-floor apartment with a window. It's not really a window, but the landlord says it's a window, and I pay, I don't remember what he said, something like 5,000-6,000 shekels a month. Like, he's like, this is exactly, he tells me, why I need this to succeed, why the Haredi Tzibur has to. It's, you know what, sometimes the Havas Yisrael comes, lo lishma, ba lishma. Sometimes you gotta, like, even if you don't have 100%, nobody has 100% Havas Yisrael, not me, not anybody, we can't say, but we gotta strengthen that from 30 to 40 to 50. By second you take a Jew that his whole life he's walking on gravel, walking on stone, walking on cement, living in the 9th floor, and he's actually walking on the ground of Eretz Yisrael. It's something that I can't explain. It happens. It just happens.
Ephraim, let me ask it like this. We could talk about this all day. There's so many reasons why we need to. It's better for the people. It's affordable. You get land. You get to live and plant in Eretz Yisrael. You get to conquer land. You get to throw. We get to help. Defend ourselves against our enemies. There's 1,000 reasons. It's cheaper. 1,000 reasons why, of course, people which should want to come out and help settle the land. There's a couple of risks, but at the end of the day, anyone who's willing to take a few small risks for something a little greater than themselves, it's a no-brainer. So now we got to talk tachlis at the end of the day, because we got the clock is winding down, and so again we could convince people. I think at the end of the day, people don't really need convincing. Most people are either gonna see it for what it is and want to get involved, and those who don't want to get involved, they don't even care about this conversation. So for those who want to get involved and understand what's going on, understand the importance of this. So again, I have, like we were discussing off camera, because people know I live on a hill, people are constantly asking me, is there room on my hill? So I'll just answer for the camera because so many people ask me. Unfortunately, right now on our hill, we have a little over 20 families, give or take 20 families. And there's already a lot of politics, like everything in the world, especially Jews in Israel. A lot of politics. Yeah, we got some people. They want to knock us down. The government wants to knock us down, and there's a yishuv nearby that made a deal, and they said if we don't build anymore, they'll try to help us. Yada yada yada. Some of us want it, some of us don't. I want to bring more people. Some people want to just stay put, and they want the safety. So right now we're in the middle of a political issue till we can bring more people. So that's my situation for all those who are asking on my hill, on Derech Hashem. Be'ezrat Hashem soon we'll be taking more people. People are constantly asking me, are there other options? What does it take to start a new hill? Starting a new hill, I'll just say, for the people watching, starting a brand new hill without any help, you need to be a certain type person. You need to be a certain type person. You need to. I was the second person on my hill. We had to run water lines. We had to figure out how to bring material. We had to make the roads. There's a lot of work. And we even got lucky that there was a yishuv nearby that we were able to get a water line from the yishuv. Some people are digging wells, or I don't even know what they're doing. I don't know about digging wells, but I don't even know how some people are getting water. And it's very complicated. I think most people watching these podcasts are probably not going to be the type of people starting a hill from scratch. It's a very complicated thing. I think most people are what most people want is really where we're holding here on Derech Hashem. We're probably you're holding in what's it called? Mitzpeh. They want, everyone wants in at that point. They want in when there's some infrastructure, there's some people, they understand you already made it a year, the risks are slightly lower. Everyone wants in at that point. The only problem is at that point, there's long waiting lists. Politics are starting. And then at some point you transition from that into being a more official yishuv where they're already selling land for top dollar. So I have not yet really come up with an answer for people. That's why I wanted to say this on the camera for people to know. I don't know. I want so badly that people should come out here like we're discussing. We need to be doing this. There's no question we need to be doing this. And of course, the hilltop youth that, of course, is always being lied about on the media in America and in Israel. They're really I call them the IOF, the Israeli Offensive Force. We, unfortunately, here in Israel, we only have defense. We don't know how to do, well, not we, but some Jews, unfortunately, the ones running the country, don't know what offense means. They don't know what strength means. They don't know what moving forward means. But the hilltop youth, they do. So thank God for them. Right off the bat, I'll say if anyone wants to, and Yishai Fleischer has a fund where he collects money for tractors. The tractors, as they call, as Yishai calls it, and I've heard many people call it, the tractors are the tanks of the hilltops. If you have a tractor, you can do anything. You can build houses, you can dig, you can plant, you can make things happen. So if anyone wants to help financially, there are ways to help, either with Yishai Fleischer's thing. They can probably get in touch with you. We'll put some stuff in the description. They can get in touch with me. We can use money on our hill to keep building and growing and fighting back. There's definitely ways to help financially. But for the many people who reach out and want to know, how can they get involved? They want to live. They want to invest. Some people want to invest. Some people want to actually live. Are there options?
Okay. So I'm going to, like we said, one of the reasons that we decided to open up the Yishuvim Charidit movement organization, whatever you want, is to bring, first of all the information in hills, different hills, bring them together, bring the strength, and that way we can move forward much more stronger with back. When we go and meet politicians, and they ask you, you're representing that kiva? No, I'm not representing that kiva. I'm representing a whole tzibur, a whole kehila, whether it's a yishuv over there. So when the question is there options? So there definitely is options. Obviously, each person has to decide where his starting line, where his ending line, what does he want? Does he want to be, like we said, yishuv, that's everything's ready, and I'm number 51. Does he want to have the land officially as of today? Because usually in the hills, what happens is the land is not yours, but in the future, once the government realizes they can get a couple of bucks from the people, they charge them a certain amount of money, it becomes yours. That can take 20, 30 years. But in the meantime, the land is yours. You don't have to pay taxes on. Is that what somebody is interested in? Is somebody looking just something? I had people from Bet Shemesh that came over to me, I had people from Yerushalayim, they said, listen, we're older, get us land. We're going to put down money. It doesn't have to be in our name. That. I want a plot of land. Now the yishuv is opening up. Start, we're going to put down the money. And when we feel comfortable enough in 2 years, in a year, we'll build. So in terms of what we're doing is looking for those available places. It's not easy because in the past 3 years, all of a sudden there's a building, especially in Yehuda and Shomron. Right now we're more surging in Yehuda and Shomron. We're hopefully after 2 more 3 yishuvim, we're going to try to get a yishuv inside the green line, like I said, in the north. So till then, we're working on finding places. And to say that we don't have places is not true. We have places. But some of these places, like we discussed earlier off camera, there are a lot of in Israel what they're called farms, that people have a farm, they were given by the government, a certain area to guard it. And usually these farmers, they're very quick, they do the work, and they move on to the next hill. Now the problem is, usually, it's a lot of money. They want, compensation. The government does not give compensation, but they are willing, and we found it in many places, not just by the Dati Leumi, is that there are places that are open. I will leave the area. I will agree to you can have 100 dunam, 200 dunams, you can put 50 families, 100 families, whatever it is. But you'll pay me for whatever. I have to now clear my whole farm and move it to the next hill. You'll pay me the compensation. And obviously, this is one of the ways. We're not talking about, if we split it up to 100 families, we're talking about nothing, like less than building 2 or 3 meters of your house. We're talking about very small amounts. Obviously, people that are going to be moving in, they're going to pay less. People are going to be moving in 5 years, they'll pay more. We're obviously trying to find that tzaddik. Mitzvah is named after somebody who put down the money. She put down the money because she wanted to have a part of Eretz Yisrael. She obviously didn't want to show up one day to lift one shovel, have the work done by others. But in the history books, obviously that money, it would have been done in any case. But that money helped it out in the beginning when people were still a little nervous and they didn't know how to, to pay for that tractor that if chas v'shalom something happens to it, you're responsible for all losses. So if people are willing to have, they want that yishuv, they want, obviously they'll have their plots there too. They want it to be name of their grandfather, grandmother, whatever it is, but they're willing to believe in Eretz Yisrael, to be that pioneer. We're going back in history, if it's possible. This is the Sefer of, maybe you'll put in after, Chazon Sion. This is the Talmidei Agra and the Baal Shem Tov that came over 200 years ago. And if people know in Yerushalayim, there are neighborhoods named after Moshe Montefiore, who was a UK politician, a very rich Jew.
Famous name here, yeah.
And he's got neighborhoods, and then more neighborhoods, and more neighborhoods. Like, well, why does he have so many neighborhoods named after him? Because he paid for those neighborhoods. He didn't put all the money down. He paid to clear the land. He paid to, to put the fences up. Back then, we're speaking about all kinds of dangers. Jews going out of the old city was a kiddush. He put down, and he has now, wherever you go, you're going from one neighborhood, Yamin Moshe, I don't even know all the names.
Right, most neighborhoods in Eretz Yisrael were started by two people. The guy who put a few bucks down, or the guy who
did the heavy work.
Did the work.
Exactly.
You have those two people, and then everyone else comes. Most people want to follow someone. They want to know, they need guidance.
Right. So we are giving, first of all, from our experience, we have experience with organizations like Nachala. We're working and slowly building up our government. Politicians know how local, non-local, because it's very important. In the end of the day, they won't agree. Why are you building on a hill? I wanted it, maybe not. Okay, you built, fine. You got to know the language. You got to learn everything. So what we're doing is bringing groups together, bringing more and more families. Even before the yeshuva started, we know we have 40 families, 30 families that are willing to go. Doesn't mean you have to go tomorrow, but somebody starts believing in it just by having those sheer numbers, because you never want to come to a situation where you're starting to build and then stops. You just got to, like you said, you got to continue building in another house and another house and another house till you get to that mass of families where you can open up that gan, you can open up that shul, you have a minyan every Shabbos, because nobody wants to live in a place where you have the bare minimum. It's hard. We became a bank of information, and people are giving us more information. We're becoming that central body that the Dati Leumi had organizations like Nachala, and they had organizations like Gush Emunim that spearheaded it. Because at the end of the day, it's not a one-man operation. It has to be an operation that everybody can get involved, get behind. Even, I proposed, and hopefully we'll be doing this soon, every Haredi, what is it? Signing a petition that we also want yishuvim. As a Haredi, I want a yishuvim. 2 years ago in the Negev, the government, they don't build new yishuvim very often. They built 5 yishuvim. They gave the whatever it's called, they were looking for groups. And sadly, there was a Haredi from Bnei Brak, and she worked in it 3 years. She had nothing to do about Yehuda and Shomron. She just wanted the life of the quietness and everything. She got a whole group together. At the end of the day, when they came for the vote, who should get the group? And she had the most established group. The group even met in the hotels a few times for Shabbos. She lost. Why did she lose? Why didn't she get one of the 5 places? And I remind you that one of the 5 places went to Bedouin that steal the entire Negev, build wherever they want. Because she didn't come in with the right politics. She didn't speak to the right politician beforehand. So okay, whatever, we'll give it to the people that are closer to the plate. And that's what we want to become. We want to become a say that we have the strength. No, you're not going to, when you're giving out the Haredi, the Dati, the Americans, we also get part of the pie. If you're building now 20 yeshuvim, we also want 3, 4. It's not just for, the Bedouin and the kibbutznikim. Everybody, and if we show, we have behind us 10,000 Haredim that signed a petition. I want to live in a yeshuv. What does he really want? Does he not want? But I believe in it. I want there should be just like everybody else get. So we have already something to go on to show that it's not a one-man thing, 2-man thing, 100 men. It's actually a lot of people that believe in it. And this is, havdil from the English media, but in the Haredi media, it's becoming more and more spoken about. People send me here, they're speaking about if they cancel the Mechir L'Mishtaken, which is a government subsidy program, let's go the way of Mitzpeh, let's go to build like they do in Meitzad. People are understanding that if we don't do it now is the time. And I want to speak about, I actually went to the grandson of Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. His name is actually Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. And I went to speak to him. You can see this on camera. I don't remember if he said this on camera, but he told this to me or privately. He said, maybe we don't know how Hashem works. Maybe the reason that it became so hard to find a place, the correct place for so many young couples, is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking us, and he wants us to go and spread out through Eretz Yisrael. And I said, it's the exact same thing. Look what's going on in Chutz La'aretz. The anti-Semitism and all these different things, they're not coming because Hashem wants to, spite us, make us, I also in Montreal, 25 years ago, had it. How many times I called a dirty Jew and people came at us as a Hezbollah and this. We had a lot of Muslims back then. And I said, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this is what Rav Ovadia Yosef said, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this, it's becoming so hard, maybe this is the reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to spread out all of Eretz Yisrael and save Eretz Yisrael in the end of the day. And B'ezrat Hashem, that's what we hope. We were going to do the Hishtadlus, and hopefully people will come on the bandwagon. I'm sure there's a lot of superstars that don't even know they're superstars, and they have the strength in them to do. It's like Bayas and Mitzpele, everybody tried to do more than the next person. He brought, a 40-meter house, he brought a 50, he brought a 60, he brought a 70, he brought a 80. And that's how it works. In the end of the day, you get a yishuv, you get another yishuv, and now we're looking to expand elsewhere in the local area, north, and other places. And B'ezrat Hashem, people that are, just recently somebody moved in. I said, how did he move in? There was 6 families that were supposed to move ahead of him. He's like, because this guy, he called and called and called and called. In the end of the day,
the people that get in are the people that
a nudnik. Be a nudnik. Don't be. So if you,
because it's hard. So we only want the people that are
exactly.
The people who just send a text like, I want to invest. Let me know when the opportunity comes up. Like, no, thank you. We want the people that drive up every day, knocking on the doors, saying, I want my piece of land. I want it now.
So I just heard the other day, somebody asked me to help him get into a yishuv called Moses there. Yeah, a Haredi couple, and they asked me to help him get in. I said, will they accept it? Like, yeah, they have no problem. So I went and found out with my connections, what's the process. So the person spoke to me. He told me, listen, we bring them in one time, we show them around, then we send them home, and then we bring them a second time. It was like, are you sure it's for you? It's for you. Like, what do you mean? What are you doing? Yeah, we do it like Gerim. We're trying to push you off. If you're not fit here, we have 20 other families. We don't need you. We don't want you coming building and the next day crying, why, what did I do? Because there are people that are, like I'm saying, somebody who needs 24/7 minyanim, maybe that's not for him. He needs the makola open to 2 a.m, go to Bnei Brak. So that's kind of like what you said. Be that nunik. Say, I want to help. I want to push. How can I do? What can I do? Can I come down? People came to me like, what can we build? What, they came to the yishuv, it's a whole construction site. Can we come help just to gather garbage? I'm like, you have to be that person to do that. And if you're the other people that want to invest, that want to donate, that want to help get that land, that obviously will be a zikui aravim, because in the end of the day, another place in Eretz Yisrael will be with the children walking there, with the kol of Torah, with, in the nights you'll hear the kol going out from the base medrash. Could be something that, if people ask me, I give money to a kollel in Yerushalayim, Bnei Brak, I said, beautiful, beautiful. But do you understand that when you give money to that kollel in that little hill, that guys were driving every day 30 minutes back and forth because they didn't live there at the time because there were no houses. Do you understand that the Torah over there, the money you helped over there, goes a lot longer than that koil that you gave. If you wouldn't have given, somebody else would have given. So, like you said, be picky and choosy. If you want to make Eretz Yisrael thrive in the ruchnis and kedusha and Torah, you got to get involved. And B'ezrat Hashem, we will give out the information, like you said.
We'll put it on the screen. Email, phone number,
WhatsApp, and
when you get a website, I'll let everyone know.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the WhatsApp status. We'll let everyone know. So I'll just want to wrap it up. Okay. So there's no protocol. Okay. Right. There's no protocol. People want to know what's the process. How does it work? People need to know just a few things. Correct me if anything I say here is wrong. There's really no protocol. So it's Chatzi, the Wild West. How it's going to play out, where it's going to be, how much it's going to cost, what are the risks involved. Everyone wants to know, is there a low risk option? It's very simple. You pay with risk. The less risk, the more you pay. You want no risk, you're paying full price. That's how it works. Sure. You want land, you want it for a good price, you're going to be taking a risk. Whether the risk is you're close by to an Arab village and there's some risks there, or whether the risk is that the place isn't fully established yet and the government might show up with the bulldozers one day because it's not legal yet. So there are risks. So it's a very simple balance. I think people can understand this. Anytime there's anything that sounds too good to be true, probably is not true. Usually, if you're getting free land or very, very cheap land, there's probably going to be a risk. If somebody tells you that they have a great opportunity, they're trying to sell you some sort of great opportunity, it's basically free almost. You pay a few dollars, you get so much land, and don't worry, the government really doesn't care about this one. I would stay far away from that. It's going to come with risk. Is it worth it? It is worth it. It's worth it because you get land, because it's cheaper. It's more wholesome, but on top of everything, of course, the main reason it's worth it is because we're conquering Eretz Yisrael. We're settling the job, as in the pictures in this book, the Sefer, and in the pictures people see of the pioneers, of the hilltop youth. The job has not finished. We are still in the very beginning phases. Just because we have Tel Aviv and Yerushalayim does not mean we have Eretz Yisrael. So the work is great. It's not easy work. If somebody wants the easy way out and they have some money, donate. If somebody has the time, help. If somebody physically can do it, get involved, get over here. There's nothing more that any of us need than bodies. That's beyond probably money, beyond time is bodies. The more people on the ground, building, living, planting, protesting, and everything in between, that is the ikr. So again, I've never had a good answer for people how to get involved, because although I live on a hill, I'm not very involved. I'm involved in so many other things that I have not been, although I would love so much to be involved in this, but it sounds like you have an operation running and growing in your Hit Yashvut Charedit. Right. Okay, so that's basically the name of your organization. For the most part. Yep. So for now, you don't have a website. We're going to put a phone number and an email on the screen.
Right. WhatsApp if somebody wants to send that. And we are working. We're working on mostly to the Hebrew speakers, because in the end of the day, that they need the more.
Everyone watching this is English speakers.
Speaker, but we will make sure to translate and get as much materials.
If you can get one or two English representatives to help out with this, that would be great. I think a lot of people that are that want to get involved here also generally, again, like we said, you need to be able to put in work. So people, if they can't get an answer right away, they have to be willing to wait a week or two or three to get an email answered, whatever. So you'll work something out. But the fact is we need a contact for people, because in regards to, I preach, obviously, moving to Eretz Yisrael, living in Eretz Yisrael, there's really nothing you can do other than living in Eretz Yisrael to fulfill that mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael and bringing Jews to Eretz Yisrael. So that's pretty simple. Right. In regards to building up Eretz Yisrael, it gets a little more complicated. People need to know where to put their money, where to put their time, and where they can come if they want the boots on the ground. And so that's where you're going to come in.
Exactly.
You're going to get a lot of phone calls. I'm
going to say right now on camera, be patient.
Be patient.
We will get back to you.
Be patient. Send an email. They should call you, WhatsApp you, and follow, and send an email. Yeah. Send an email and then follow up with an email.
After 11 o'clock, I go to sleep. No.
And give it. They can call.
I've had three. I actually had. If we're going to say seriously, I've had 3-4 phone calls at 3-4 in the morning. I've learned since then to.
I say you got to eventually shut off your phone. You want to help everyone, but people. The best thing I assume this is probably for you. The same thing is the best is send an email, right? And you'll get back.
WhatsApp, and we will get back.
And if they don't hear from you, follow up.
And hopefully we listen as more and more English speakers want to hear more and more. Maybe we will have an event instead of me repeating myself 100 times, which I do all day long, explaining the situation, and we'll,
you'll see after this video, you'll probably get about 100 plus emails, the night of this video.
Okay.
Because I assume that the hundreds and hundreds of emails that I've already gotten on this particular subject, and I keep telling them I don't have an answer, assuming they're all still watching the podcast, they probably are going to say, finally, someone with some answers. They're going to be contacting you. Okay. So you're going to have to, you'll get some ambassadors. You're going to have some people to help you out. Fine. I will be making some more videos in the future, covering some more aspects of the building up Eretz Yisrael, less logistics, more just ideology to get people inspired. But again, it always bothered me that I'm trying to inspire people to do this, inevitably the greatest work that can be done in this generation, which is building up Eretz Yisrael, conquering Eretz Yisrael, getting rid of our enemies in Eretz Yisrael. And of course, the more from Jews that are involved, the better. Unfortunately, the more Haredi from Jews have been the least involved in building up Eretz Yisrael, and we're going to change that. And we hope that people are going to step up to the plate. But we can motivate, we can inspire, but people need they need to be told where to start, because it is complicated. It is a little complicated. So, okay, Shkayach Ephraim.
Thank you for having us, and I hope a great Kiddush Hashem comes for this. Thank you. I hope to meet again. With
it will. Okay, guys. So that's the end of today's episode. So again, we have all that info on the screen. And as always, like, subscribe. Check out the website, homeboundisrael.com. Be'ezer Hashem, maybe we'll put even all the info from this video up on the website, so you guys have a place. We'll make even a page on the website eventually with information, with your information, with any information we can, guiding people as to where to call, who to email, who to contact if you want to build a Eretz Yisrael. And of course, please donate. You could donate to Ephraim. You could donate to my website, homeboundisrael.com. Go, like I even said, go to Yishai Flesh. Go anywhere, get involved, donate to building up the land. Any money that comes my way, any money that goes Ephraim's way, I can't vouch for everyone, but most of us, we're making sure all that money is going 100% towards building up Eretz Yisrael, bringing Jews back, making Eretz Yisrael what it's meant to be. Shkayach, guys, and we will see you guys in the next one.